Hi, I'm Bryan Davis, and you are watching Trumpet Flicks.
Speaking about lead trumpet playing, I think many younger trumpet players, they think it just requires you to play like high. But what elements do you think are most important for lead trumpet playing?
Lead trumpet playing changed during the 20th century. So it was a very different job in the early big bands than it was in the later big bands. So the switch happened in the mid-1960s. Up to that point, your lead trumpet player, the first trumpet player, was the person who could play the phrasing the best and make the band swing the most and be the most accurate and lay it down in the best way that everybody could understand. And then there was usually somebody else whose job it was to play the high notes. So, famous examples, if we look at the Charlie Barnett band of the late 40s or the Stan Kenton band of the early 50s, Maynard Ferguson was in both of those bands. He was not the lead trumpet player. He was the high note guy and a soloist. It wasn't until a little bit later when one of the famous examples of this, although I'm sure there may be others, was Bill Chase with Woody Herman's band. Up to that point, they had always had a situation where there was a lead player and a high note guy, and Bill Chase decided that he wanted to be both guys. So he was playing first trumpet and he wanted to be able to play the high notes. And so they started to change how some of the arrangements were written and how the section was organized. And he became both of those things. And because that band was popular, that became the thing in other bands as well. But before that, there was a lead player and a high note person. The sound of trumpets in big bands changed a little bit at that time. You know, some of our famous lead trumpet players, the great lead trumpet players of all times, like Conrad Gozzo, for instance. So many studio records with Frank Sinatra and all kinds of different studio music in the 50s and 60s. Had a great high F, but you very, very rarely hear him play anything higher than that. He has the biggest, most glorious sound in the world up to that point. And he probably did if he played higher, but that wasn't his job. If there was a higher note to play, there was the high note guy to play that. But he was one of the best lead trumpet players ever because of his sound and his feel and his swing or his phrasing if it's a different groove. And that's the important thing for me about being a lead trumpet player, is laying it down for the band and playing the phrasing in the right way and making the groove happen in the right way, making the band swing in the right way. It just happens now that the way arrangements are written very often, you have to play some high notes as well. But that's not the point. The point is about the phrasing.